Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with a should sit a little bit further in video for you. Essentially, I've been cracking on with bits and bobs on the WD40 server. WD40 because it's a funny name on the the spray oil that you can get. I don't really know how to explain it because it's such a big brand that you just call it WD40. But anyway. But obviously we've got 40 terabytes of Western Digital WD hard drives going in this. Now it's a project that's I've made a few other videos on, so if you want to see all the other bits and bobs, please do make sure that you go and look the other videos up, especially the introduction, because it'll give you the kind of gist of what we've been going on with. Now I've been playing around with the case this week, and I thought it was worth a video to kind of explain what I've been doing and why, because I've been purposely trying to keep things looking standard. So it's got to the point where people have, unless you really look at the case side by side with the other one, it can be a little bit difficult to understand what I have been up to the point that even when I was speaking to one of the Fractal guys the other day about it, even they were like, yeah, if you hadn't told me, that just looked like Fractal stuff to me. So it was kind of, it was then I thought to myself, well, if they think that it looks normal, then obviously that there's going to be people out there that are going to find it kind of difficult as well. So luckily I've got another one by the side of it. Now this is actually our competition rig. I'm going to today's Saturday. It finishes at midnight on the 22nd of February GMT. So if you haven't entered, I'll put the link underneath. I'll make a thing pop up. Make sure you do. Just to give you a kind of a rough specs, it's a 4670K i5. We've got GTX 960 in there. It's in a Fractal R5. We've got solid state drive in there. We've got a storage drive in there. Fractal white power supply. Asus Z97 motherboard. We've got 16 gigabyte of 2400 megahertz Corsair Corsair Vengeance Pro. It's the lovely stuff with the changing colour toppy bits on it. Water cooling thanks to the Fractal S24 Kelvin. There's loads going on in there. It's obviously a really nice gaming rig, perfect basis for anything that you'd really want to chuck at it. It's perfect for 1080p, and yeah, we're giving that away. So I'll stick the link, so there you go. So I've pulled this out of the loft because until we pick a winner, I can't send it to the winner. But also, the other problem I had was I have been using a slave case. Now this is obviously the project build, but this is all that's left of the slave case because I've had the front off of it, I've had the hard drive bays off of it. It's been emotional, but what I'll do is I'll bring the camera in so I can give you a rough talk about it, because when you actually see it side by side with the other one, it's going to make things so much easier. You'll actually understand a little bit better, and hopefully then you'll see that I have gone to quite a lot of effort in trying to make this look as standard as possible, because I didn't want it to be, a big kind of shouty, like amazing mod, because to be fair, that is completely out of the realms of my abilities. I'm not a Peter Brands, I'm not a, a Sneff, I'm not a B-neg. I'm old school. Give me a Dremel, which I had to buy myself another one because my one, poor old thing, I think I've had it about 9 or 10 years. It was literally shaking like buggery that I think something's gone inside. It wasn't like the end of it. But anyway, so I've had to buy myself another one. But so I've done this to the best of my abilities. I would have thought there's going to be those of you out there that could do it, better than me as well. Brilliant. I would love to see it. Make sure you come and share the project log on OC3D. I'll stick the link underneath because YouTube won't let me share forum links. So I'll stick a link underneath where you can follow my project log. One thing I will say though is, like I said, I know it's not necessarily very technical, but there's not going to be many of you that are going to get a chance to have slave cases. And all it was is when I got sent the original sample, it was a non-window, and then Fractal rushed me a window version. And I kind of said to them, because when it comes to cases, people ask all the time, but when it comes to cases, once you've used it, built it and stuff, it's then not the best idea to kind of send it to another reviewer, because you've only got to have a screw missing or a scratch and it can affect. So cases are generally one of the few things that you can almost guarantee are going to stay afterwards. But rather than me kind of being really greedy and I had the spare one, I thought I can make a project like this. And also, before anyone starts saying about giving stuff away, I never give used stuff away. If ever we do a competition like this, it's all brand new stuff. And also, you know, if you give everything away that you get given, then you'll never get given stuff, because you need stuff to hand to use for videos, and, you know, to grab for this and to grab for that. Like, for argument's sake, I'm going to be doing a review on the new baby GTX 970. I know there's loads of controversy about it, but it's the ITX 970, and I'll probably get the ITX 960 as well. But it just meant that then I went and grabbed my Impact, because it's obviously designed for an ITX board. But if I'd have given that away to you lot, then I wouldn't have been able to have done this. And to be honest with it, if I had given it away, Asus wouldn't have let me keep it in the first place, because the only reason they let you keep it is so that you can use it later on. And if you sell stuff, like a lot of the other reviewers do, that's why they don't get given stuff very often. Right, so, rant over. A lot of you will probably understand all that stuff. It's probably going to kick off in the comments and stuff, but oh well, it's just people that don't understand. Anyway, what we're going to do is I'll bring you in so that you can have a look, and I'll try and explain what I have been up to with the two cases, slave case, all that stuff. Okay, so the back case is the standard case. So the best way I can explain it is, if you have a look at this, we've got a 3-cage rack and then a 5-cage rack. Essentially, with my server, I needed 10 hard drives. So I have 2 5-cages. Now I've had to screw these two together because they don't natively fit together. So I've done that. Now there was an option for you to be able to have the hard drive in the roof anyway. There is a mount up here, but you have to remove the optical bay cage, which is what I've done. And then there's the standard mount up in the roof, and that's the mount that if you want to run a 360mm radiator, you have to remove it. So essentially all I've done is bolted these two together, and then I've used the standard mount in the roof. But then what that meant is, if you have a look on this one, you can see that this, if I kind of move you around this way, you'll be able to see a little bit better. You can see this is the cage for the fan mount, which I'll show you from the front in a minute. And you can either have 240mm or 220mm fans in the front. It doesn't go right to the top. Now obviously with my one, we come this way again, there we go. Essentially, by having the hard drives all the way to the roof, I was going to end up with the top 3 probably hard drives not being cooled at all. Now it all bolted in actually quite nicely, but it was that top bit, and I didn't want hot drives at the top. Although cooling for hard drives isn't necessarily massively important, it was just something that felt a little bit wrong. So what I did was, and I'll move the camera again in a sec, but I did just want to show you that on here you can see that I have bolted the cages in. Now they're little Allen bolts, but I'm going to move it again so you can get a better idea of what's going on at the front. Okay, so first of all, this view, essentially you can see that we've got the optical bay section up here, which you can remove, and that's where the optical bays go in. You can see that there's one fitted on the competition case. So that's all lovely, but if I'd have taken my hard drives right to the top, I would have just had an open gap up here, and I obviously wanted to have like I said, a standard look. So that's where we've got the standard fan fitted there, and that's with both of the fan filters removed. But what we can see is mine goes right up, and if you do see at the bottom, you can see the bottom of my other fan filter there. Now because of if you have a look carefully, you can see that the optical bays are narrower than the fan bays, so to be able to get the fan filter in and out, it wasn't really going to work. But at the top of the dust filter area here, you can see this mount where the clip goes into, and there's plastic up here. Well, essentially what I had to do on the other case was remove this plastic, and what I mean by the other case is the spare case, because you can still see that we have it here. You can get the dust filter straight in and it fits fine. But I removed this plastic, and it's now actually up here, so that there is still a mount for the dust filter. If I move you back a little bit, there is still a proper mount up here for the dust filter, and I have had to, if you have a look here, you can see that there's a big chunk of plastic that I've had to file away. It still needs a bit of tidying. Zoom in, feel free. It's not the tidiest thing in the world. I do still need to do a little bit of tidying up there. But essentially what I wanted was for the front of the case to look stock. And if I'll just remove the front for you a second. And there you can see the finished article. And essentially what I did was cut down the two mounts. Because these slide, it means that you can have, let me see if I just grab a 120mm fan quickly, just one in the drawer. Essentially, because of this, the slides, you can have the fans and you can move them up and down, which made life really simple. If they were just holes, then we would have had a right nightmare trying to get everything to fit and line up. But essentially what I did was just chop into the two. Now if I zoom you in, that is the line where the two meet. So I followed that line down to cut that one, and then essentially what I did was I overlapped them so I could mark the second one and then make those line up as well. These two here, these are extra rivets that I fitted just to make sure that the ends are a little bit more rigid. And if we go up the top, you can see that there's some rivets at the top here that I've added as well. It was just essentially to try and make it all nice and tight. But the only thing that I have had to do, and this is something that you can see on the dummy case is still there. I'll just bring it in. You can see that we have a brace here. And this was where the optical bay cages would sit in. And that's had to come out as well. And that, if I zoom you in, is there. You can just see the cut. You can see here. That's where it would have been, and you can also see that there's an angle there because the actual opening for the optical bays is slightly wider than the fan section, but the actual plastic side of it wasn't. So that was why it was a bit of a pain in the buttocks. But that's it, done now. So the case modifying side of things is done. I've got a false floor in the bottom of the server now as well, so you can't see all of the ugly fan filters and stuff that are in the bottom, which I wasn't going to use or anything anyway. So we've got a nice flush floor. So really now it's time for me to get everything done, like final build. I need to get the fans in, although I do need to test fans. Sadly, because of the way that the racks go, I have to take the racks out to be able to screw the fans in. So it's all a bit of faffing around. Fractal are going to send me some of their GP12s. I've got the GP14s which come in the case as standard, but they're sending me some GP12s because there's no room to be able to put 3 140s in there, and all the mounts don't really line up to be able to do 3. So we're using 3 120s in the front. So I'm going to decide whether I'm going to use the Fractals or the E-loops. But essentially the hard work side of it is done. Just to give you a little teaser for the RAID card, this is the passive cooler that we were on about using. It's actually meant for a graphics card, but you can see the bit of copper that I've had made, and you can see it's actually stuck to it's a 3mm bit of copper, and it is stuck to the bottom of where it should really go onto the graphics card. So we've got, there we go. But we're going to, I need to get that properly bonded on because it's not on there properly at the moment. It's actually thermal paste holding it on. But we will get it properly done. And then that is pretty much how my RAID card is going to look. So I'm hoping this will mean it's a lot cooler than it would have been before. Definitely looks a lot cooler as well. But anyway, that's it, peeps. That was my little update. I wanted to show you everything that's gone on. Please let me know what you think. Please also go to the forums. Make sure you look at the pictures. We've made some changes on the forums recently so that you, if you're a new member and you want to post pictures, then they just need to get approved by the moderators, but you should be able to see the other stuff that people are posting now, even if you're not a member. But please do come and join the OC3D community. There's an amazing gang of people there. They're all epic. Some of them are crazy like me. Some of them are crazier. That Dice Hunter, he's a bit... oh yeah, and watch out for Wraith. He's a bit special. Yeah, don't get caught in a corner with him, let's put it that way. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you any longer. Love to hear your feedback about this. Like I said, it's not meant to be an amazing shouty mod. It's meant to look as close to what it could have been if Fractal have made it, and that's the look that that's my aim with it, is to keep it looking standard. But anyway, this is Tiny Tom Logan with another video for you. Out.